Hi everyone, not a native speaker, so apologies in advance. Married since 3 years, in a relationship since over 5 years. After a long academic journey, we are both at the start of our careers and being pretty successful doing so. Recently bought our dream house together and simply enjoying the few years we got left to do whatever we like since we're planning on having kids in a couple of years from now. Our relationship felt, to me like it's made to last forever. We're sharing the same values, same humor, same goals. Also, we were both old and experienced enough to tell it's not just puppy love or anything like that. We both share pretty much open phone policy, which just came natural. Sharing pictures, simply grabbing the next device available to look something up, etc. We both own iPhones, and I recently stumbled across the possibility to mask fade-out pictures, and they will only appear in a special folder. Mea culpa. Mea maxima culpa, that caught my attention concerning his phone. So last Monday, when he went for his swim training, he left his phone at home, and I went for it. What I found was beyond every expectation I've had. I thought maybe I would find some random corn or even pictures of his ex or something like that. I found pictures and slow-mo videos he took in the office over a span of a few weeks of his now former secretary. She is a 21-year-old pretty attractive girl. He recently got a new job, and the pictures started around the time he knew he would quit his old job and therefore probably wouldn't see her again. The pictures mainly focused on her butt, her legs, her heels. There were also saved profile pictures of hers from social media. Then there was something else which I still can't or don't want to believe. One series of pictures shows her butt in tight dark jeans with some fresh wet stains of something that looks like sperm on it. He kinda has a fetish for anything that has to do with girls getting messy with sperm in corn and or RL. I felt and feel shocked and can't think of anything else since I found that Pandora's box. I did not talk to him about it yet. He's not suspecting anything, even though I could not act around him normal. Him asking what's wrong, I told him I don't feel very well due to my period, which is also true, by the way. So please share your opinion about it. How should I approach this? Should I even approach it? Is this normal behavior? Has anybody experienced something like that? Thank you for your support. Now for an edit from OP. First of all, I want to thank you all for caring so much. Regarding your comments, I feel the need to add some more context. He spoke to me about her regularly when he told me from his day at work. She was his personal secretary's assistant. They also talked private stuff, but nothing inappropriate. More like small talk. What did you do over the weekend, stuff like that. At least he told me so, but he always liked trying to make me a little bit jealous. Seemed to be a turn-on for him. He tried so by telling me innocent things about other girls that were obviously attractive. Like, she has new nails, which look way better now, or today she dresses a little bit inappropriate for work. He always did so with a smile, and of course I knew what was going on and what he was up to. And of course he, in retrospect, talked about her in that way. Most of the time it did not bother me, since I was sure it would be something childish he needs for himself. Most of the time I wouldn't even react. He has no social connection to her anymore. Not in social media, not in real life. The only contact they do still have is their phone numbers. She sometimes has to reach out to him to ask for some work-related stuff, since not all of his case's projects have been finished when he left the job. He openly tells me about that when there was contact. Seemed normal to me. What I don't know is where he has the social media pictures from. I looked it up. They are not connected via Instagram or Facebook, and her profile is set on private. He doesn't use any other social media as far as I know. Some of the pictures were WhatsApp profile pics, others probably not. That makes me wonder a little bit. Maybe I should try and hold myself back for a few days and see if the folder is updated regularly. What do you guys think? Also, I feel the urge to check on his other devices, but did resist so far. Now for another edit from OP. I'm overwhelmed with your responses. Certainly did not expect so much feedback and so much sympathy. Some responses even brought tears to my eyes. I'm pretty collected right now, although I think it'll be another sleepless night. I have a plan. I need to find out, since so many of you suspect there is more to it. Tomorrow, he will be at work while I'm working from home. All of his devices, except for his phone, will be here. I will look at them. I simply have to know. I know this could backfire, but I'm being totally egoistic here. He lost his right of privacy the moment he took pictures of this young lady. By the way, I met her a few times when I was visiting him at work, and she is a true sweetheart. I'm getting angry writing this at the moment. I will find out and will save the evidence and confront him. I will keep you guys updated. Should I keep on editing this post or start a new one? I really don't know since I'm pretty much new to this active posting thing. Now for an edit/update from OP. Good morning, everyone. Right now I'm sitting in front of his computer, MacBook Pro, which is connected to his phone. He's at work and will return in about 4 hours. I have absolutely no clue how and where to search for evidence. I've always used Windows my whole life. I know some of you might not want to be a part of this, but if anyone could provide some help, e.g., where to find the photo stream, that would help me a lot. For anybody wondering how I'm doing, didn't sleep a lot, feeling empty at the moment with my heartbeat going very fast. Of course he noticed. He was caring. He always is. And I tried my best acting. It's all due to my period plus migraines. Thanks for your support. Now for another update from OP. I'm shocked. Calling my sister now. This is too much to handle for me. Sorry for letting you guys wait for so long. Now I'm sitting here at my sister's house, spending the first night without him for years. It's about 10 p.m. here in Europe, if you wonder. After one of you guys told me about the Photos app on Mac, I opened it. It was a mirror of his phone, and then some. There is the hidden folder with all of the spy pics. Also, there was an album by the name of her initials. It was the single most disgusting thing I ever saw. He took pictures and videos of himself releasing and prepped food in a Tupperware while obviously being in his office bathroom. A few pics later, she was eating her lunch at the office right out of that Tupperware. Pictures of him coming into a coffee or on cookies. You can imagine the rest, I think. Besides that, I found dozens of pics and videos of her from social media, which all seem to be screenshots or screen recordings. I have absolutely no idea where he got these from, since they are not connected officially on any social media. I already commented that I decided to call my sister, who came over immediately. I was in a total state of shock and showed her everything. She was my rescue. She told me to go grab an external hard drive and took a copy of all that while I was packing my bags for the next few nights. We left before he got home. His laptop was still open, with also the album open when we left. About 2 hours later, he tried to call me like 100 times. My sister took the phone once and told him to stop it in a very explicit manner. He wrote and is writing me messages constantly to come home and talk about everything. We could fix this. He needs my help and stuff like that. I didn't answer. Not a single word. I'm just sitting here crying most of the time and feeling like the biggest idiot of all time for falling to a guy like him. It takes the floor under my feet. It scares me, not knowing what comes next, not knowing what to do tomorrow, and how to deal with all of that. I also think that I should contact her. It's too much. I would appreciate your advice here. He is a lawyer. The city we live in is his hometown. His career would be over for sure if this happens to become public. I don't think he could ever recover. And for myself, I would always be his woman, the poor wife. Now for a few important comments. You should also inform the secretary what's going on. You don't know what else he's done. It's exploitation. The Tupperware thing was gross, ASAP. Hope you're coping well. Take it each day as it comes. You're strong. You'll get through this. Good Lord. Divorce, therapy, and absolutely tell his boss, his secretary. Expose that creepy-ass food wrapper. His behavior is no reflection on you, and you shouldn't feel ashamed. You trusted your instincts and caught him out. Well done, you. Now for the 2-day update. Hello, everyone. I want to keep you guys updated and also ask for your further advice. I decided to talk to him and give him the opportunity to explain this whole thing from his perspective. Not that I had any hope, but a confrontation was unavoidable anyway. So yesterday, on Sunday, we met at our house. It is also my house. I told him my sister knew I was here and she would call me in about 1 hour to confirm I'm okay. I have to mention, I had no fear concerning violence or something like that. Anyway, better safe than sorry. When I arrived, he initially was very reserved and observant. I acted calm and distant. We sat down and he said nothing, so I told him not to waste my time and to say what he had to say. He then asked me what I think I found, and I couldn't help but respond that I found out he was an intimacy criminal and that I will report him to the police. That probably was a mistake. His facial expression changed, and he told me this would be a very bad idea and may result in some serious trouble for me. He claimed he had an affair with his former assistant for quite some time, and this whole sperm food thing was just a game bet between them. The bet was he would make her eat his sperm before he left the job. The pictures would be the proof, and he already showed her all of them to win the bet. He said it was just a kinky game between them. The other pics of her butt, etc., were also taken consensually. At least she knew about it. So he told me there was nothing illegal going on, and if I would go to the police, this would be wrong suspicion performed by me. Also, nobody would believe me anyway, because it would clearly be an act of revenge from the betrayed wife. Last but not least, he would know the chief prosecutor personally, which is true. So if I went to the police, I would only make a fool of myself and also probably commit a crime. At that moment, I couldn't think straight anymore. I reacted emotionally rather than think rationally. I lost it and told him to go out of the house. It got ugly. The result was, he actually left the house. I had no idea if and when he might come back, and also felt very uncomfortable in the house. I then packed a few more things and went back to my sister's house, where I'm planning on staying for the week at least. Today, I called in sick at work. Now I'm no fool, and of course, I see him being a lawyer, trying to protect at least his career by claiming it was all consensual. He knows me very well, and he knows our relationship was over the moment I found the pictures. I've always been very strict and consequent in former relationships, and he knows that. On the other hand, his claim could be true. I think I'll contact a lawyer, as I need one for divorce anyway. I had to call her. We will meet in about 2 hours in a cafe next to the office. She seemed surprised, but not concerned. For your context, we already met a few times when I was visiting him at the office and casually spoke a few words. So I'm no stranger to her. I will drag some of the photos on my phone to show her. This whole thing feels so unreal, but if I wouldn't do it, the feeling of not knowing and not being able to do something until next week when I meet my lawyer would be too hard to endure. Now for a few important comments. Why not contact that secretary and let her know about those pictures? If it was consensual, then fine. If not, she can prosecute whatever she wishes to, as she's the victim then. No? He is lying out of his butt. He is an intimacy predator. My girlfriend is also a lawyer. Go to the police. Make an official report. They will do their job, because if he's lying, this girl needs to know. Who knows what else he's done to people. Now for the next day update. When she arrived, I could already see by her facial expression she had no clue what was going on and why I asked her to meet me. This turned out to be true. First thing I asked her was if he contacted her within the last couple of days. She denied. I had a feeling she was telling the truth. A 22-year-old girl could not have lied to my face this calm and collect, I think. So I told her I found very inappropriate and disturbing photos of hers on his phone. I showed her some of the spy pics on my phone and asked her if she knew or noticed that. She reacted completely irate. The pictures I showed her were normal ones, so nothing about the really gross part just yet. I asked her about their relationship and his behavior towards her. She initially said everything was okay and normal, and most of the time he used to be very polite. But she added that towards the end of his job, he used to approach her very often and talk to her about personal topics such as her relationship status. One time, he made up a fictional scenario where he said he would ask her out if he wasn't married. When she replied to him, she would have said no in that scenario because she would want to separate work from private life. He acted offended and talked her into saying yes. I felt ashamed for his behavior and apologized for him. Then, I told her that there would be something else which I needed to inform her about. I told her about the other pictures involving the food. I didn't plan to show her the pictures, but she really wanted to see them. I showed them to her and she literally nearly threw up. She was in a state of shock. It broke my heart, so I sat next to her and took her hand. I told her I'm by her side and will support her whatever she plans on doing. I told her I already left the house and will divorce him. I couldn't help but started crying, seeing what he's done to that lovely girl. I asked her if she wanted me to accompany her on her way home, but she said it was okay. She went by car. She will talk to her family and certainly report him, and also file a lawsuit against him. At least that's what she said. I feel so incredibly sorry for her, it breaks my heart. At the same time, I feel so angry about him and still hope this is just a nightmare. Hopefully I did the right thing. Now for a few comments. You're my hero. So many people in your situation would choose to not confront the truth about their predatory husband and instead push the issue out of their minds. Instead, you stood up for this young woman and did the right thing. Now all that's left is the follow-up. Divorce proceedings. One hell of a lawsuit, destroying his reputation to a point where he can never be in a position of power over anyone in any workplace. And then, hopefully, peace and healing. This whole situation is fricked up, but you're honestly incredible. The world needs more people like you. Now to see it through to the bitter end. Wow, that's actually what I thought when your ex told you that it was consensual. Hope he has his butt handed to him at court. Now for the 2-week update. One day after I met her, she must have gone to the police and reported him. 2 days later, I received a call from a police officer who asked me to show up at his office and bring the pictures I copied with me. Of course, I went there and handed them to him. I still own another copy, though. He asked me if I wanted to testify, but told me I didn't have to. 'Cause he is my husband, I agreed and told him everything I know, how I found out, how I contacted her. The very next day, the police called me again and asked if I was at home. A couple of hours later, 4 policemen, my husband, and a prosecutor showed up at our house. My husband handed them all electronic devices, hard drives, old phones, USB, etc. They also searched through our house for hidden ones, but as far as I know, didn't find any. My husband told me he was currently living in a hotel room and said he would come back later to get some clothes and other belongings if that was okay. I agreed, but told him I wouldn't be there. He said we need to talk, but he will not pressure me and give me time and space. He said he loves me, and the whole thing looks more ugly than it actually is. It just got a little out of hand. To be honest, I would have loved to punch him right in his face and/or scream at him, but I couldn't say a single word, which was probably better anyway. On that afternoon, he obviously got some stuff out of the house, and when I came back, his keys would lie on the table next to a printed email from a craftsman who would come a few days later to repair something with the garage door. Ever since, I'm alone at the house, and really nothing has happened. I gotta be honest here. I canceled the appointment I originally had with my own lawyer concerning divorce. It's not that I'm having an illusion everything will eventually turn good. I just don't feel ready for it. It's been a little too much for me lately. I will proceed as soon as I find some energy. That's about it. He did not contact me, not a single word. Even though I'm in constant contact to my sister, I feel pretty lonely and sort of depressed. Also, I'm a little scared alone at the house. We've had some pretty bad thunderstorms lately at nights. From what I've read in the previous comments, there was a discussion about where I'm from. Actually put a smile on my face getting so much attention. It's Germany. So one of you guys just want a wash machine. Now for a few comments. I've never felt proud of a stranger before, but damn do I feel it now. I'm sorry you had to deal with all that nonsense. I'm glad that girl is getting justice. Get another appointment booked with a divorce lawyer. If he goes to trial and the lawyers get paid from your joint assets rather than what has already been spilt, financially, you could end up more screwed. Now for the 5-week update. Hello everyone. I've received lots of messages asking for updates, so I decided to post one. I know a lot of you guys will be disappointed, and that's okay. It was a very thorough time, lots of emotions, fights, tears, sleepless nights. But eventually, he is my husband, and I'm his wife, in the good times and in the bad. We are giving it another chance. I will not explain every detail that led us to this point, but I will say it was not an easy decision to make. We had very good conversations. He really opened up, took care of my feelings, and really didn't pressure me. I know what he did was wrong. Of course, he knows that as well. But saying it was all his fault wouldn't be fair. She is not that innocent girl I thought she was. Of course, I blame him for falling for her, but she must have made it, though, for him, and in the end, he is only human. I know what victim blaming is, but that's not the case here. Again, I will not go into details, but she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew how he likes women's dresses, shoes, nails, etc. She must have been flirty with him from day one, which is for almost 3 years now. I couldn't even blame a man for getting weak, certainly not for finding another valve. She is not an angel. Probably most of you guys will now consider me weak and, best case, will tell if he was gaslighting me. Feel free to do so. It's okay. In the end, it's my life, my marriage, my shoes to walk in. For the criminal proceeding, he reached a deal and paid a fine. The money will be received by charity. There was no court proceedings. To this point, she didn't sue him, which I think speaks for itself. Anyways, I still love you guys, and I'm very thankful for all the support I received. I feel the need to explain a little bit more on my decision. I married him knowing all of his kinks and fetishizes. I knew the typical porn star look is his thing. Big breasts, big butt, small waist, makeup, full lips, fake lashes, fake nails, plastic. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now throw in her fulfilling most of these cliches. Big breasts, big butt, small waist, all dolled up, lashes, nails, high heels running in and out of his office, taking care of him, always in a good mood, laughing. She is a smart and confident girl. She knew exactly how she was triggering a 30-0 man. She knew he had her WhatsApp. He showed me her profile pictures, changing on a weekly basis. Hell, even I think they are sexy. Not saying she deserved what he did, but I now understand that dynamic and what her appearance, having her around all day, did to him and how it must have triggered him. When I was her age, I knew exactly how to manipulate a man sexually. I'm sure most women do. She definitely does. He decided not to cheat on me, not to start an affair. He just chose a wrong exit. He could and should have talked to me. That was the mistake he made, because together we would have found a way. I'm not prude, not religious, and I don't hate other women, but women shouldn't act surprised they force a reaction in men looking like a porn star. In my experience, men around the age of 30 are nothing different than a 15-year-old boy in the middle of puberty. That combination was toxic. Now for a few important comments. I know what victim blaming is, but I'ma do it anyway. Agnificent wealth male, that's a whole lot of words to say. She was asking for it. You're deluded, and your husband is a intimacy offender. Mazel tov. Am I the idiot for demanding my wife confess to planting her bra in our neighbor's house to prove her crazy conspiracy board? Okay, this sounds insane, but I swear my wife is totally normal, otherwise, which makes this so strange to me. For context, we're both in our later 30s and live in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood where we all know each other. My wife has always loved trashy movies and shows about infidelities, and she eats up true crime about spouses ending the life of their cheating partners too. She just says something about it makes her morbidly fascinated, in her words. Well, a couple months back, we had a scandal in our neighborhood where a married couple in the neighborhood divorced because the husband cheated. No, there wasn't an unalive or anything like that, but she became obsessed with learning every detail from every neighbor. No matter the occasion, be it a baby shower or cookout, she would bring it up, hoping there would be any new information. A month later is when I stumbled on the board in her home office. I was doing some cleaning and I found a massive bulletin board facing away, leaned up against the wall. Curiosity got the better of me, and I turned it around to find a literal freaking conspiracy board of all our neighbors' pictures with lines of yarn connecting each other, like the freaking Pepe Sylvia meme. I was totally confused and asked what this was, and she told me it was a hobby she had started recently, where she would track rumors or likely candidates for cheating on the board. The yarn represented who was possibly cheating with whom. She had clearly gotten all the images on Facebook or some social media and printed them out and even had a few sticky notes with details. I told her this was creepy and insane, and she said maybe if I was doing it as a man, but she is just having harmless fun as a hobby. And she wouldn't be crazy and try to oust anyone based on rumors. She just likes feeling like a detective. She told me to view it like a creative art piece. I was still super weirded out, but let it go, or tried. I thought about it a lot. Well, every now and then I admit to checking the board when cleaning, but just a couple days ago, I looked to see that now I was on the board with a yarn attached to a neighbor's wife I am casual friends with. I asked her why she would add me if she thought I was cheating, and she said that was a different yarn color for potential matches. For cheating. She said if it makes me feel better, she was planning on adding herself to the board soon. Well, I got pissed and kind of lost my temper about it. I told her to get rid of the board or our marriage will be in trouble. Things have been super rocky since. Sorry for the long post. I am starting to feel bad, and it hit me more than usual this morning. Should I apologize to her? And before you ask, no, I don't suspect her of cheating. Honestly, I wish she was, because it would at least make more sense than this. Am I the idiot? Now for some comments. A commenter said, I really couldn't see it getting weirder until she mentioned adding herself to the board. This is a strange game your wife's playing, and it seems like an unhealthy obsession with infidelity. Another commenter added, right, is this her way of admitting to cheating? I'm so confused. One more commenter said, NTA, I'm a big fan of true crime myself and can be nosy about neighborhood gossip, but I would use my yarn to crochet stuff while I watch or listen to true crime YouTube channels. It's absolutely creepy for her to print out pictures of her neighbors and then speculate about you and another neighbor. You don't have to be okay with whatever your spouse does. I would have done the same thing if I were in your shoes. Now for the update, 5 days later. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Firstly, appreciate all of the concern and NTAs. It gave me the courage to approach her and tell her that while I may have overreacted by threatening our marriage, I think it is a creepy thing to do. She apologized and said she would get rid of the board. I thought we were good. Literally 2 days later, sheet hits the fan. Our happily married next-door neighbor finds a woman's bra under the bed that does not belong to her. It doesn't take long for the whole neighborhood to find out. Well, my wife is giddy, like jumping up and down for joy. She shows me the board, which she still didn't trash like she promised, and of course, the husband was marked with yarn, meaning he was likely to cheat. She told me the board was accurate after all, and maybe she should keep her hobby around. I was definitely suspicious, so I looked at the board again later. It looked different from the last time I saw it before the latest scandal. Instead of the yarn connecting to another neighbor, the cheating husband's yarn connected to a post-it with a question mark. Firstly, it was the only question mark there, and I swore it wasn't there last time I saw the board. So either she changed it after the cheating to prove a point, or slightly before it happened, which made me even more suspicious either way. Now, I felt like I was the detective, and I was going crazy. I went over to the cheating husbands to ask a few questions. The wife was staying at her parents', so it was just the two of us. I asked him if he actually did it, and he said no, he would never. Then I asked if my wife had been over recently. He said one day while you were at work, his wife asked her to water a plant they had while they were both away and told her where the key was. So yes, I immediately raised an eyebrow. I asked if he still had the bra, and he was getting nervous and told me not to get the wrong idea. I said, don't worry, he still had the bra, and I looked at it. It was my wife's, but one I knew she almost never wore because it was from a lingerie set I bought her one Christmas she said was uncomfortable. I told my neighbor I needed to talk to my wife and ran out, but I told him not to worry. I approached her with the bra and asked her what was going on. She played stupid, but I told her to cut the BS. I asked if she had either cheated on me with him or planted it there. Either way, she was in trouble. She confessed to planting the bra and said it was to make me admit her hobby was valid or something. I flipped on her. I said this was worse than her cheating on me because instead of ruining just our marriage, she ruined our neighbors and ours. I demanded she call the wife and admit to everything, even sending pictures of the board. I even showed the Reddit post, which actually helped convince her my wife had planted it rather than cheated with her husband. Well, they made up, but now I have no idea what to do. I am barely speaking to my wife, and it is only a matter of time before the entire neighborhood figures this out. I seriously need advice. Now for some comments. A commenter said, I honestly refuse to believe this is real. Your wife is actually nuts. This is insane behavior to have. Another commenter added, I was thinking just the opposite. This one is so original, it's got to be real. No AI is going to come up with this insanity. That's left to humans. One more commenter said, one word, divorce. I'm sorry, but your wife deliberately interfered with someone else's marriage to the point where it could have been ruined, just so she could validate her hobby. She did not validate it. What she did is inexcusable, IMO. Finally, another commenter added, I was suspicious she planted the bra as soon as he said she was giddy to hear the news. His wife is certifiable. Am I the idiot for cutting off my daughter's college fund and kicking her out after she chose her manipulative biomom over us? I'm a single dad to my 18-year-old daughter, Emma. Her biomom left us when she was young, and I've raised her with the help of my wife, who has been a wonderful mother figure. Recently, Emma started reconnecting with her biomom, and I initially supported this, hoping it would be a positive experience. However, it quickly became apparent that her biomom hadn't changed. Emma began making excuses for her and started exhibiting increasingly hostile behavior toward my wife. She would say things like, maybe I'll just move in with my mom and leave you both behind. And, you're not my real mom anyway, so what do you care? It escalated to threats where she implied she would ruin our lives if we tried to stop her from pursuing this relationship. During a heated argument, Emma expressed her desire to move in with her biomom. This was the breaking point for me. Feeling that I needed to set boundaries, I decided to cut off her college fund and told her she had to leave our home. Since then, my family has been vocal about their disapproval. They believe I should have been more understanding and that I overreacted. Some even argue that I'm pushing her further away and harming our relationship permanently. They think I should have tried harder to support her rather than resorting to such drastic measures. Am I the idiot for taking this step, or was I justified in cutting her off? My daughter also accused me of always loving my wife over her, but it was the other way round. Her biological mother abandoned us, and now she confides in her. So a lot of you have been advising me to give her the college fund, and I think I agree. I shall give her the college fund, but I will not ask her to come back to me. That's her own free will, I guess. Now for a few comments. Malachite Eclipsa. Just let her figure out that her biomom is a piece of shoot. That's the best way to go about it. 12 Whiskey. This is the best advice right here. Kind of similar situation for me. Mom left when I was 3 and didn't want anything to do with me. I tried to reconnect with her in high school and held her on a pedestal for some reason. She didn't show up for my graduation, wedding, birth of my first child. At that point, mid-20s, it finally hit me what kind of a mother she is. OP, it may take some time and some big milestones, but your daughter will see her mom for who she is. Just be there for her and don't trash talk her mom. I have mad respect for my dad because of it, and we are super close. Oh, and guess who's never met my youngest child? White Rabbit Candy. Sometimes you have to let them experience it for themselves. It hurts, but that journey can lead to growth and a better appreciation for those who truly care. Long Jumping Lab 1916. I don't think during a heated argument was the time to tell her that. It just makes you look impulsive and not in control. When she started being rude and disrespectful was the time for you to sit her down and have a stern conversation about her behavior and her words. Her biomother is clearly a bad person and a bad influence, and you should be very concerned. Yes, you're hurt, but for now, put that hurt aside because you need to get your daughter back on track. When you feel you've cooled down, contact her and tell her you'd like to meet. Go to a neutral place, just the two of you. Explain how what she's been saying to your wife and you has been inappropriate, mean, and hurtful, and you won't tolerate being treated that way. Ask her what made her say those things. Tell her it's her choice to be in touch with Biomom, but she should ask herself why her behavior has changed for the worse. Tell her she's 18 and can make this choice for herself, but she should think long and hard about who her allies are in her life. That if she chooses to leave you behind, you can't stop her. Basically, treat her like an adult. By putting that out there, it takes the power of her threats away. I suspect it will make her rethink things, and she's going to soon see exactly what kind of a person Biomom is. Treat this time she's spending with her mom as a detour rather than a new direction. Don't give up on your daughter at this point. No doubt she has a lot of unresolved pain around being abandoned by her mother at a young age, and she is trying to win back her biomother's love and affection. Of course, it won't work. But Biomom is probably good at manipulation. Please be there for your daughter. She's still a teen and is making a bad decision, as teens often do. Mild, you're the idiot. Now for the update a few hours later. Thanks to everyone who commented on my original post. I didn't expect to have an update so quickly, but a lot has happened in just the past few hours. About an hour after I posted, I got a message from Emma asking if we could meet up. She suggested a nearby coffee shop, and although I was unsure of what to expect, I agreed to meet her. When I arrived, I could tell right away that something was different. Emma looked exhausted and stressed, not at all like the confident person who left our home. She told me that her time with her biomom had been a disaster. Not only had her mom treated her coldly, but she also demanded an exorbitant amount of money for rent, far more than Emma could afford. It became clear to Emma that her mom wasn't interested in having a real relationship with her, just in using her for financial gain. Emma was visibly upset as she apologized for the way she had treated me and my wife. She admitted that she'd made a huge mistake and asked if she could come back home. It was obvious she was genuinely remorseful, and she said she realized now how much we had done for her. I told her that I'm willing to work on rebuilding our relationship, but it's going to take time and effort on both sides. We discussed setting some boundaries and working through the issues that led to all of this in the first place. She agreed, and we left the coffee shop with a plan to move forward, one step at a time. It's not going to be an easy road, but I'm hopeful that we can heal from this and come out stronger on the other side. I'm still processing everything, but I'm relieved that Emma wants to make things right. I also agreed to pay for her college, and she is really happy now, by the way.